The hero section on a website is often the most impactful design feature that you'll find, at least on the homepage. It's where the story of the brand often begins, and then there's also a clear call to action. So it's a very striking and important part of a website. If you really want to pack a punch though, and if you really want to elevate your site above most hero image sections, you want to use something like a video background. Now, a year back, I did a video on how to use background overlays on hero sections just to really elevate the design. It can help to create some depth, help to create focus on important elements, or just help the text on top and the call to action button pop. Now, if you want to check out that video, please do. But somebody left a comment in the comment section, weird how that works, asking about whether that could apply for video sections or video background sections. I think I said that right. And the answer is yes. And so after a year, I'm going to answer that comment and show you how to apply background overlays to video sections. Okay, so let's have a look at what we are going to build together. This, as you can see, it's a video section. It looks fantastic. This is a very striking video section, and yet it's so simple. It's the first that we're going to make, but first I'm going to show you a few others, and I would like to tell you why I think they're good and why they work. First of all, we have a very subtle overlay. Now, you might not realize it's there, but it is very subtle, and all it is a bit of a darkening around the edges. And the way that's achieved really is because there's a radial gradient applied, and the center is transparent, and then just around the edge there's this subtle blue just fading in. And often subtlety is going to help you just bring everything together, and it's quite a powerful design element. But let's scroll down and see what else we have. We have this very minimalistic looking imagination, and then the background overlay actually has a hover effect attached to it. Now, this isn't the best implementation of this. I just wanted to show you that you can combine background overlay with a hover effect and achieve something like this. So really it can just sort of be part of a nice reveal. Let's do more scrolling. And here we have, this is one of my favorites. Now, what I like about this one is that we have the impact of the video background and the movement and the motion and the storytelling. Like, that's all there. Then we have this horizontal scroll effect on perhaps, you know, a main keyword and headline. But then we've got the text here. And what I really like about this sort of design is that not only is it's an unexpected shape for a video background. We don't see that often, and so it has a lot of impact, and you know, it's memorable. It's just intriguing. But then we have the text, which is the main focus of this, and it's very readable because it's not overlaid on the top of a video section. Now, while this looks great, it's not great for accessibility. In fact, Google, when it's assessing your page, would kind of pick up on the fact that there's not much contrast between text and its background. That is mentioned in in optimization tests. But here we've got all of these beautiful elements, a striking design, and then it's just very accessible. So I really quite like this feature. Now, using this same technique, this same use of a background overlay, we've implemented it differently, and we have this very striking setup on this section. Again, it's a very novel use of shape. We've got two videos, and then in between that we've got a kind of a story, something to pull on our emotions, you know, live your dreams, and you know, it just, all of that just tells a nice story. So again, that's a really good use of video background, but it's all quite novel, and it's enabled by the clever use, if I do say so myself, of background overlays. Now, the next two that I'll show you, I will need to present to you in the next video, because I don't want this video to get too long by the time I've shown you how to build all of these, but they are in the category of video and background overlays, and so I do want to show you what is possible. They do require a line of code though, so I'll do those in a separate video. Here we have some beautiful, and I don't know if you noticed that animated onto the screen, but we have a video coming through an actual piece of text. So here we're going with the explore theme again, but the story is actually coming through the word. It's quite minimalistic in its presentation, but again, it's very striking and it has that element of curiosity. You don't often see this on a website. So that's, really quite cool. Following on from that, we have the use of this sort of glass effect here, which again lets the video section really pop through. It continues to tell the story, but you can modify this so that you've got all of the information, but again, it's quite a sophisticated and novel presentation. You don't often see this glass morphism effect on a website, but I think it particularly works over a video. Okay, so let's get on with building some of these, and you can start to see the power of background overlays when applied to video sections. So here we are in the edit section. Now I'm going to assume that you know how to create a section, adjust the height, add elements, and so I won't spend much time on that, but I have other videos if that would be helpful to you. But essentially what we want to do is create a section, add some elements, and then play with the background overlay. I would like to do that fresh though, so let's quickly put this together. We need one column and bring in a bit of height. That will do for this. Now all you need to do is go to edit section, style, background type, go to video, paste in the link, and you have some other options here as well, just to choose the best time that you might find in the video. That should already be coming through. Why is it not? There we go, that's very lovely. And let's grab this text, paste, cool, and then call to action button. Cool, okay, that looks really nice. I will increase the height a little bit. Lovely, okay, so let's play with the background here. So selecting the section again, making sure that we're on that, we go to the style tab and then go down to background overlay. Now we can set a single color, and so we might want to lighten it or darken it. We might want to bring in the blue a little bit more, and you can see that pretty much anything we do, it looks good, doesn't it? Now a really great thing about this, about how it benefits video use over normal images, is that when you have a hero image, you can take that into Photoshop, you can take that image and lighten it, brighten it, change the tones, change the colors. If you are using a video that you've taken from YouTube, with permission obviously, to use on your website, there's nothing you can do to change that resource. It's not so easy to take it into some production application and alter the colors to suit your brand or what you're looking for. But using background overlays, we can actually achieve quite a lot, and whether that's just recoloring it, and just doing something that suits our brand, or whether it's just simply applying a few different effects, like a bit of a shade around the corners so that you can bring focus to text or calls to action. All of that is enabled by background overlays. So let's have a quick look at how to do that. We're going to take this first color and make it transparent. And then that leaves us with this pink at the moment, which is very striking, but not at all what we're looking for. But what we can do then is go to type and make it a radial. And we can see that the pink is around the outside here. Now there's nothing in the middle because we made that transparent. But if we bring up this opacity, that's across the entire background overlay. So if we did have a color there, that there's no transparency there whatsoever, but we're going to bring that individual color right down, and then we can adjust this as we need. Now we need to bring this to a color that we like, so we can go a bit more dark and murky and scary, a bit Jawsy perhaps. And you can see again that again, it's quite subtle. That's a bit stronger than the one before. But you can see how that brings real focus to the sunlight in the middle. But that's a very simple way to apply a background overlay. Look at that. Right, so that looks pretty nice, and you can see that it doesn't take long at all to be able to apply those effects. Now I'll quickly show you that this one has a shape divider on there, and it's not strictly what this video is about, but I do just want to show you that all of that can apply to video backgrounds. So style, shape divider, choose the one that you think looks cool. I think this one is quite nice and subtle. I quite like that. And there you go. Look how striking that is with the animation of the video, or the motion of the video against these beautiful edges. Very, very striking. Okay, let's move on. I don't want this video to get too long. So this one is combining the hover effect and the background. And so again, I really don't want to make this take too long. So I'm going to nip up to this one. And what we're going to do is go to background overlay. Oh, actually, I'll duplicate this one because I want to show you something later on that. So again, go to section and background overlay. Now let's use a single color on this one first of all, because what we want to do is apply a hover effect, and we do that by changing different properties within these two tabs. So for the normal state, we would like it to be white. Completely, there we go. Oh, my mouse is catching. Now, why is it we can still see through that? Well, because we've got this opacity. There we go. Right, so that is completely white, and if I hover over it, nothing's happening. But now we can set a hover state. So I've clicked on the hover tab and then click on the background type color, but we don't need to worry about that because what we're going to do is bring the transparency down. So what we're saying is that on hover, we're going to have the background overlay a transparent color. So let's try that out. Boosh. There we go. We have that hover effect. Now that's pretty nice, but it's a bit too boosh for my liking. So what we want to do is bring this transition duration up, and then we see we have a much more gradual effect, which is really, really quite nice. There we go. Now again, I'll explain a bit later on how I think this could be better implemented as an effect, but right now at least you know how to apply a hover effect to a background overlay, or that at least that is possible, and it can create quite a nice little sort of surprise reveal. Okay, let's move on to, that's what we just created, to this section, one of my favorites. Now we will build this one from scratch just so that I can show you how simple it is to create the video background and then this overlay effect. So let's go to a new section. Click, and we need 2 columns because we have 2 there, and we need a bit of a height, so let's bring that up to about that. Just grab a video link. I believe this is the right one, and we go to style, background type, video, link. Cool, that looks really nice. Now, this is how we apply this background overlay. We go along to background overlay, which is a great start for that. And then we would like a gradient background for this one. And we're going to do much the same. So here, well, the video is refreshed. So, but here we've got a transparent section. And that's what we would like on here, which it is. But we're just going to make sure of that. And now here we've got pink. So for the moment, I'm going to leave it on that. It's a nice loud color. And if we play around with these locations just have a play, and what you'll see is a sharp line start to form. Now I can move either of these and just keep chasing it, and I've got a nice sharp line, and just keep adjusting them so that you've got it where you want it to be and that it's nice and sharp. But why is that a bit transparent? Well, we need to bring up the layer opacity there. Right, that's lovely. Now, how do we get this slanted shape? Well, over here there's an angle, so we just twiddle that one around and you can see what's happening there. There we go, that looks about right, and I would like to use white. Now for me personally, I think it's quite nice for it to be white, because that gives the illusion that the video is cut into the page. So you want this color to be matching whatever the website background is around that section. That would be my suggestion, at least. And then of course you add different elements to the column. So paste. And then a button. Now this effect on this heading, you go to advanced and motion effects and enable scrolling effects, and then horizontal scroll, and then as you scroll it just comes across the page like that. That's an Elementor Pro function though, so you will need to purchase Elementor Pro. I highly recommend that. It will revolutionize your building of websites, I promise you that much. And should you decide to do that, please do check out my link below. You pay nothing extra, but I just get an acknowledgement and some commission on that, which would enable me to continue making these videos. So there we go, that's an Elementor Pro feature. And that's really quite nice. Okay, so let's use this same effect that we've just learned to do to create something like this. And we're going to do this turbo speed and keep this nice and short. So I'm going to go with another section. And I need this to be one column at this point. That's fine. Now, what we're doing here is we're actually using an inner section widget. Now, it's the section that allows us to have a background, a video background. So if I swing this on in here, I've now got a bit more of a portable video background canvas. So let's bring in a bit of height on that one. Grab a video link, style, background type is video, and there we go. Okay, now we know how to do this, but we select inner section and go to background overlay. We need the gradient background type, and we have one color which is transparent, and we have the other which is going to be white. And don't forget, we need to bring up that opacity value, change the locations until it's nice and sharp, and then alter that angle. Now I need that to come a bit over to the left, and it's blurred up, so I move those, and that's pretty cool. All right, I like that. I'm going to duplicate this, add a different, which one shall I grab? A different video link, style, there we go. I want this video to be short, but I also don't want to just do a time lapse on you. I think it's valuable to see the build, but you can see it doesn't really take that long. Background overlay again, and we're going to swing that angle around, and you'd want to get it to, you can be very, very precise obviously, but that looks about right for now, which is great. So I quite like that. What we need to do now is add in a bit of text. So let's grab a heading, swing that in, and something like live your dreams. That will do. Oh, I just need one column. That's what wasn't right. And then live your dreams, that will be centered, and we would like it to be a bit bigger. or a lot bigger. And then we want to actually rotate it. So go to advanced and transform, rotate, and there we go. I won't be so precise because time is not our friend, but there we go. I say that. Oh God, there we go. Yep, that will do. Okay, how do we position this a bit better? Well, okay, you can start messing around with this, but you'll see that that's not really the best way to go. You can though. What I would say is go along to position, knock it to absolute, and you can actually move it around like this. Just make sure that that's looking correct on mobile. There we go. Why is that not clicking? There we are. That looks a bit better. The last thing we want to do on this one is go to advanced again and motion effects, scrolling effects, and scale. We'd like to make it scale on scroll. Again, that's an Elementor Pro feature, by the way, but I think you'll agree it's subtle, but it's really quite awesome. Very nice. Okay. Again, obviously you would add the call to action button where you wish, but you've got this column in which where you can do that. But that is how to make that nice striking effect. Okay, just before I wrap up this video, I would like to show you a couple of things very, very quickly. Which one should we choose? Let's go to this one. I just want to encourage you really to play around. Here we have a duplicate section, and if you were thinking, okay, I don't want to mess up what I've done, but I would like to see what this button does and what that might do, I would encourage you just duplicate a section that you've created, and then you've got that as a play area. So let's have a quick play around with this. Style, background overlay, and what I would like to play around with is, what's a blend mode? Well, let's have a look. This is one of my favorites, the saturation one, because look at that. It brings down the saturation, and because we've applied that overlay with that really sharp line, it looks really quite striking. And yeah, I just think that looks great. You can then play around with the color of the text and see what effects you can get, but that I think looks quite good. I would even say maybe there's a case to say that this would be better white, something like that. And it all comes from playing around. And just don't forget that you can duplicate a section, you can't break anything, and just give yourself a playground and see what's around. So I think that looks really quite fantastic, but have a go at different things and just play around with those. So as you can see, background overlays can really bring a lot of design possibilities to your page, especially when using something like a video, which is quite a fixed resource, but you're able to change the colors, change the focus, bring in gradients, or even watermark images over the top of those. Again, you're also able to create quite fun shapes so that they really have an impact on your page and create some sense of novelty, and perhaps that's part of the mechanism for telling your own brand story. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If it's been helpful to you, please do give it a thumbs up, please do subscribe and comment below, especially with any further requests for tutorials or any thoughts that you have on this video. Again, if you think that Elementor Pro might be for you, then do click the links below. I've also got links to my courses, my online courses, where you can learn to build entire websites, either on Skillshare or Udemy. Okay, thank you very much, and I will see you again.